Mr. Tim Morten, what a pleasure to have you here today. We'd like to ask you, how are you finding the event so far?
The event's really been wonderful. An opportunity to see firsthand what's going on in Riyadh, but also to connect with so many other great figures from the industry.
That's great. And do you see a lot of progress going towards, esports with all the events that we've been seeing here in Saudi and in other countries as well, where esports is being taken much more competitively, and we have tournaments being hosted all around the world for many different games.
Coming from StarCraft, where esports has such a long history, it's very gratifying to me to see the scale of what's going on today, and also just the increase in popularity. Even here at the Esports World Cup, seeing the venue sizes, the crowds, the excitement around esports, it seems like it's the beginning of an even broader future.
Yeah, hopefully that's, we all have our hopes up on seeing expansion and just many improvements in this industry. Also, so in Frost Giant Studios, since you have many former Blizzard talent, so was it difficult to try and have as many great like-minded individuals in one company? How hard was it to bring all of them together?
I think everybody at Frost Giant is really motivated by a passion for building a new RTS, but also bringing more players into real-time strategy as a genre. So I feel like it was galvanizing that we had such a clear mission and such a clear cause. In a way, that's made it easier to build the team because we're united in that one thing.
Yeah, that's great. And also, in the past 18 months, in like a general broad perspective on gaming, we've seen some difficulties, or some companies laying off employees and having consolidations from publishers and developers. So based on this, as it's happening on a global scale, do you expect to see Frost Giant-like studios emerging from this problem?
The economic environment right now across the industry has been really challenging. Frost Giant is fortunate to have had strong backing both from investors and also from the community. So I'm optimistic that what we're building will ultimately lead to great success. Right now we're in a phase where we're taking feedback and we're iterating to try to make sure that we build a game that players are excited about. And I think this way of building games, going from early access instead of just jumping straight to what we would call a 1.0 launch, is a better way to build games. I think it will produce better games, but it means starting small, taking feedback, and then growing into that larger vision instead of just having one grand reveal and hoping that you got everything right.
Yeah. So by that, are you referring to a demo version, the demo version that was released for the game Stormgate?
Yeah, we actually started early access on Steam about 2 weeks ago, so it's possible now to download kind of the foundation for the game. It's got the first campaign missions, it's got the first cooperative missions, and it's got a set of competitive maps. And in all cases, early access means that we're just at the beginning of development, so everything might not be as pretty or as polished as it's eventually going to get to, but it's an opportunity to experience the game and to give us feedback on what we have so far.
That's amazing. And how has the feedback been that you've received so far for Stormgate, the early release?
Yeah, the feedback so far has been very vocal, and it always is. I think players don't tend to hold back in their opinions, but honestly, that's really valuable to us because it helps us prioritize what are the things that we should focus on next in the development.
Yeah. Do you think the fan base has possibly a lot of high expectations because there's a lot of great talent in Frost Giant Studios currently?
That's one of the biggest challenges for us is expectation management. Coming as so much of the team did from Blizzard, players are used to Blizzard budgets and used to Blizzard development cycles. And as a new independent studio, we don't have those same resources. We're very committed to making a game that's ultimately as good or better than what we worked on before, but we have to start with a more humble beginning. I think the audience just isn't as used to that kind of development. They're more used to games that launch after they've had many, many years to polish and lots of budget to have the highest production values. So I think we're in a phase right now where we're learning to meet in the middle, and I think that's really healthy. It's one of the benefits of this early access approach.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. And how long was the plan to have the early access before the final version is to be released to the community?
Yeah, we're going to spend at least a year from early access to get to our 1.0 launch. And even 1.0 launch isn't the end. We have years of content and new features, new additions that will continue to come in after 1.0. But 1.0 is a point where we feel like we will have achieved the level of production polish and kind of the level of scope that we feel good calling it 1.0.
Yeah. Okay, we're very excited to see the 1.0 version come out, hopefully. And also, the developers have mentioned that there's possibly four general ways to play the game, which are campaign, cooperative. Out of those four C's, I believe they're referred to.
Yeah.
Which one do you find the most interesting in playing Stormgate?
Yeah, I started my experience with RTS as a campaign player, so I really love story, and my co-founder also is a campaign designer, so I think that's very near and dear to our hearts. I'm not very good at competitive, but I really enjoy it. So the second C, I care a lot about, but it's not necessarily my strength. Then cooperative is a more social experience where you can play with your friends against AI. That actually wound up being the most popular mode in the last version of StarCraft II, Legacy of the Void. But the one that I'm most excited about is custom maps, where players can use our editor and our tools to build their own maps and eventually their own game modes as well. Wow. That's not coming till next year that we're going to deliver the tools to be able to do that, but seeing the things that have come out of custom for real-time strategy in the past, from tower defense games to auto battlers to the whole MOBA genre, the creativity of players is limitless, and so really that's the thing that gets me most fired up, and I'm excited to finally get to that point next year.
Yeah, hopefully we're very excited also. How hard is it to incorporate such a change in the game where you allow players to customize not only the maps but also the game mode as a whole?
The hardest part about that is making it user-friendly. I think Warcraft 3 actually had a really great editor, and a whole ecosystem sprung up around that, eventually leading to the creation of the original Dota, but also many other mods. StarCraft 2 came out. That editor, it was interestingly created by the same engineer. It is a lot more powerful, but it's a lot harder to use because of that complexity. And so with Stormgate, we're trying to learn from that evolution and maintain the power, but smooth out the complexity and provide a good user experience. So that's a big part of the effort that's going into this. And we've started from the very beginning with this in mind. So the whole team is kind of rallying behind that goal.
Oh. And based on that, so hopefully by the time it is implemented for players to be able to have their own custom games and maps, is the door going to be open between Frost Giant Studios and the players to maybe incorporate some of the fan-based ideas or the new ideas that you see into the game from them?
Yeah, we'll have a whole part of the game client that's dedicated to letting players share their maps and modes with each other. And I think there's absolutely the potential for feedback for that content into the main game. Even on StarCraft 2, there were a lot of map contests, Team Liquid map contests, for example, that would take user maps and incorporate them into the competitive rotation. So we want to embrace that same philosophy with Stormgate, and we're still thinking about ways that we can expand and build on that.
Okay, that's great. And so if we were to take it on a general kind of idea, seeing all the changes and all the news and how the esports industry has been seeing a lot of great achievements, milestones over the past not only a few months, years, what are you most excited about during this era of all these changes that we're seeing?
Yeah, to me, it's the building of community and then the growth of that community that's at the heart of esports. The level of fandom for players who would come out to BlizzCon or GSL for StarCraft is something that's inspiring as a game maker. Seeing more of that and seeing that enthusiasm spread is so exciting. And really, Esports World Cup has created a scale that we've never seen before. And I think it's the beginning of something that will spread like wildfire.
Yeah, well, we're hoping so. I mean, all the voices, all the commentary, all the comments that we've heard so far with all the activations have been amazing. And, from the players to the companies to the organizations, everyone's just excited to be on this journey to see what the future holds, basically, in regards to this. But Mr. Morten, so last but not least, I'd like to share a quote that you have previously mentioned for Stormgate. Basically, so in the quote, you've called Frost, the first title, Stormgate, a spiritual successor to the Warcraft and StarCraft RTS games. Just how excited should fans be of these titles, of both of these titles, be for both the game and the esport?
Yeah, I would say this is a chance for us to fuse together aspects of both of those games into one new universe that we are planning to grow and support for many, many years and hopefully even many decades to come. We're just at the beginning, so we have a lot of work still to do, but I hope that players will be excited about our vision and will continue to support us on that journey.
Hopefully, we hope to see that as well, and we hope you've had an amazing time so far, and we thank you a lot for your time here today, Mr. Morten, and we wish you have an amazing remainder of the event. Will you be attending the final closing ceremony for the esports?
I will be at closing ceremony tonight, yeah, and thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks a lot for your time, we really appreciate it, and we hope you have a really good time at the closing ceremony of esports.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Morten. Thank you.